Most games love to tell us something is urgent. The world is ending, a villain is about to win, someone is going to die if we don't act right now. But then we can ignore all of it. We spend hours doing side quests and exploring, and nothing happens. The world waits, the villain waits. The consequences, they never come. But Dead Rising 2 is different, because in this game, if something goes wrong, it's not the story's fault, it's yours. From the moment the game starts, you're given 72 hours, and every second of that time is tracked. Missions don't wait. Survivors don't wait, and if you miss something, it's gone forever. And that's what makes Dead Rising 2 stand out, because most games don't actually work like this. Urgency in gaming has always been a thing. Almost every game has at least one moment where we're told something terrible is about to happen if we don't act in time. But in most cases, that urgency isn't real. You can take your time and nothing bad usually happens. Think about games like Skyrim and Cyberpunk 2077. The story might insist that time is of the essence, but the player can still spend dozens of hours doing side content before ever touching the main missions. Despite everything the story tells you, the gameplay often contradicts it. The world might be at stake, but the game is perfectly happy to wait for you. And once you realize that, the urgency just disappears, because deep down you know nothing is going to happen unless you want it to. Dead Rising 2 doesn't give you that safety net. From the very beginning, the game makes it clear you only have 72 hours of in-game time, and Dead Rising 2 keeps track of every second. Everything in the game is built around that clock. Missions only exist during specific windows, and if you don't show up in time, they disappear. Survivors don't wait around for you to rescue them. Psychopaths don't pause their routines. The world just keeps moving forward, whether you want it to or not. And that one change completely alters how you play. Because suddenly, time isn't just something in the background, it's a resource, and you never have enough of it. You might decide to help a survivor, but on the way there, you hear that familiar notification sound. It's 5 a.m. and you're completely out of Zombrix. Now you have a choice. Do you keep going and risk everything for that survivor? Or do you turn your back on them to make sure Katie survives? You can't do both. And that's what makes this system so powerful. Dead Rising 2 doesn't just give you decisions, it forces you to make sacrifices. Because every choice you make is costing you time, and that cost always comes back to you. And that's where Katie changes everything, because now time isn't just a gameplay mechanic, it's personal. Chuck's daughter is infected, and every 24 hours she needs a dose of Zombrix to stay alive. But Zombrix isn't easy to get. You have to earn it, find it, or sacrifice time you don't have to secure it. And if you fail, you don't get a game over screen. Katie simply turns into a zombie. That's the moment where the game truly shines, because missing a side objective might feel bad, but watching your daughter turn because you didn't get her a dose of Zombrix in time, because you were off doing something else, that's completely on you. And that's why Dead Rising 2 feels so different, because the world doesn't revolve around you, it moves with you or without you. Survivors die, missions expire, opportunities disappear. Not because the story simply says so or requires it, but because the time kept moving while you were doing something else. And for once, a game actually makes it feel like urgency matters. Dead Rising 2 will let things fall apart if you neglect them, and it expects you to deal with the consequences. And it's not hard to see why most games avoid this approach, because systems like this can be frustrating. Missing content in Dead Rising 2 often means reloading a previous save or even starting completely over. A lot of developers don't want the players to feel that kind of pressure, so instead they design around it. They make sure you can see everything, you can do everything, and experience mostly everything in a single run without having to worry about any consequences. But that convenience comes at a cost, because once the game guarantees nothing can go wrong, urgency stops meaning anything. The world might say it's fallen apart, but when you can spend hours upon hours doing side content, without advancing the main story, it kind of destroys that immersion. Dead Rising 2 was willing to take that risk. Without the timer, it would just be another zombie sandbox. But with it, every decision matters because the game doesn't wait for you, it doesn't pause, and it doesn't protect you from your mistakes. What happens during those 72 hours is entirely up to you, for better or for worse. Most games love to tell us that something is urgent, that the world is about to end, that we need to do X before Y happens. But Dead Rising 2 actually makes that urgency feel real, because in Fortune City, the clock never stops. And if something goes wrong, if Katie turns, if a survivor dies, if you miss out on the best ending, the only person to blame is yourself.